Well, hello, everybody. I'm Bo Weidman, and I'm Vice President of Solveres, involved with the real estate division. Mark has asked me to be the moderator on the meeting today. He has some other obligations he's taking care of right now. What I'd like to do is just go through and do a real quick introduction with everybody and just kind of say who you are, where you're from, and who invited you if you're a guest. I'm going to start with I think our only guest I see in here is JP.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing?
Good.
Yeah, I got invited by Jane Greenwood, and
Okay.
this is a very important Zoom meeting that I need to come and attend and meet everybody. I own an architectural design firm out in Phoenix, and we have some unique products. And one of the products is 100% off-grid energy for homes, and that is available for real estate developers. And then we're also into something, let's say, very unique is the best way to describe it, is that we offer a Bitcoin mortgage. And so we can basically, we have 3 different high-end homes that we've designed, and we can build it anywhere in the world. And they come with a processing center similar to Visa and MasterCard that is in a commercially located zone. And the earnings from processing transactions help pay the mortgage. So the beauty of that is it's not financed by any bank. It's financed completely by the Bitcoin mining facility, and it also takes your 30-year mortgage and pays it off in 1 to 2 years.
Okay, great. Thank you. We'll talk a little bit about that maybe another time.
I put just a couple of links in the chat.
Yeah, there you go.
One's our newsletter, and the other one is about the energy product. If anyone's interested, or if you're a developer, love to present how the energy works, the off-grid energy for the homes.
Okay, I want to kind of cut this down to about 15 or 20 seconds each, if you can. Rick, Eli, can you go next? Eli?
Sure. Good evening, Rick Ely, Merritt Island, Florida. We have C-suite charters, and we really focus on the C-suite, taking the C-suite out to sea and creating just incredible adventures. So yeah, that's really it. I'm a dear friend of Dusty and Steve and Bo and the whole Solveres team. So been involved on the Pono quest, and so thank you for having me. Excited to hear Dusty.
Great you're here. Our Vice President of Insurance, Bruce, can you talk for a second?
Sure, Bo. It's good to see everybody. Bruce Davis, Erie, Pennsylvania, Vice President of the Insurance Division. Been in the industry since 1988, focusing on seniors since 2007.
Thank you, Bruce. Our next guy is Micah. Micah, where are you and what do you do?
Micah Busey, Louisville, Kentucky. I'm the Chief Technology Officer. I can't fit everything I have to say in 30 seconds, and I just spent 10 of it saying that. So I'll summarize it by saying that we have a very awesome platform. Our website platform is completely automated. It's tried and tested with millions and millions and millions of transactions. So be rest assured that we have one of the best technological platforms in the industry.
Thanks, Micah. Dr. Harvey. We had a good chat last night.
Yeah, we did. I enjoyed that. I'm Harvey Wimstein. I'm in Dallas, Texas. Basically, I provide business counseling services for small businesses, and the purpose is to keep them out of trouble. That's what I do.
All right. Cammie Baker and Alan Biles.
Friends, we are the vice presidents of social impact, social responsibility here. We specifically help nonprofits get funded through gifts of real estate that we process, and we help realtors get paid a full commission. And what else do we do, Alan?
We are living full-time touring Florida right now, currently
In our
in our
RV.
RV, and we're just spreading the message about how nonprofits can benefit from real estate.
I have an announcement for you guys. I want to make sure our team gets this. Those of you that are out using Now Site and contacting nonprofits regarding Cammie's program, she's going to do a special, Alan and Cammie are going to do a special noon West Coast, 3 o'clock East Coast next Thursday, and every Thursday we'll have a meeting about helping nonprofits and how we help them and how they can get involved.
For all of the solutions from Solveres, including the ERC and different ways. So
Right. So Jeff Stafford, one of our important guys.
I'm Jeff Stafford from Frankfort, Indiana. I'm the Vice President of Operations. I handle all the admin and customer support for Solveres. I'm also involved in a nonprofit and do website development and design. Thanks, Bo.
Thank you, buddy. Bobby Smith. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Bob. Hello, everyone. I'm Bobby Smith, the VP of Real Estate Finance. I'm here, of course, in the Mississippi area, involved, of course, around the country with different business owners and real estate-minded individuals and business owners alike, with providing funding and opportunities to a joint venture as well, with providing the funding they actually need for their projects, of course, and anything there that will lead, of course, in that partnership design was development. So I'm your money guy. If you have any needs, of course, a question concerning funding of your business and your real estate transactions, let me know. Thank you.
You know, Bobby just got over a case of COVID, and he and I are going to put together the program to show all you guys in one of our Tuesday or Thursday meetings, or maybe Saturday. I'm not sure which one we're going to do it, but we'll get some videos up and an easier way to get involved with Bobby and his program.
Correct. Thank you.
Next up, I'm going to hit Vincent Patterson. Do you want to unmute and say hi?
I'm Vincent Patterson from Rustburg, Virginia. Been in life and health and annuities and insurance for about 10 years.
All right. Thank you, Vincent. And our little Southern Belle down there in Savannah.
Hello,
doing,
greetings. Darling? I'm doing well, thank you. Vanessa Taylor in Savannah, Georgia. I'm with Juneteenth Atlanta. Nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And one of our newest members, Connie Stewart. Do you want to say hi? Unmute yourself.
Yes, unmuting. Quick video. Outside for a walk with an associate of mine, Lee Prestafine. Hi. She's an Aflac agent and new to the Medicare realm. Insurance. I've been in Medicare for a long time, life insurance along with Bruce. So we're out for a walk and listening. So
well, keep that walk up. That's good. And listen good to the words that are coming up here very shortly. See, next I'm going to hit Jack Bosma. Do you want to say something? Unmute.
Your vision is my mission. Glad to be here, part of the team. Excite, invite, and engage. Thank you, team.
Thanks, Jack.
And next, I'm going to put up one of my neighbors, Steve Muckensnabel.
Hey, greetings, everyone. Steve Muckensnabel, Ridgefield, Washington. Like Bo said, I'm right around the corner from him, and I guess up the road from Mark, VP of Business Development. I'm also co-founder of Pono University with Dusty and Rick. What it is, it's a platform where we host online personal and business development courses. We actually have Dusty's Journey to Power, Journey to Vision, and Journey to Fulfillment on there. So if anybody's interested in some extended training with Dusty, those are available.
Fantastic. And Steve, do you want to introduce our illustrious guest speaker today?
Yeah, Dusty, I've known Dusty now, I don't know, what is it, 2 to 3 years, maybe, Dusty? I didn't get a chance to actually meet him in person like Rick did in Ireland. But we've spent many hours on Zoom calls with PonoQuest, creating those courses and so forth. Great friend, mentor, for me, probably as close to a father figure for what I have, and I really appreciate that. And just a master at dealing with people and using the language and organizing your thoughts. Obviously, he's co-authored several books, a part of Leadership, 7 Acts of Courage, Courage in the Valley of Death. I think you got a couple more there, Dusty, and I know you're working on some more. So I won't waste any more time, and I'll turn it over to Dusty Staub.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I've been working with people, getting paid to help people since I was 27. So it's 45 years now. I'm 72. I've been at it for a while. And I've worked in all kinds of settings: crisis centers, life and death centers, alcohol, drug treatment centers, inpatient, outpatient, mental health. And I've worked as a marital and family therapist. And I've been a consultant and a coach now for 37 years in organizations. 32 years ago, founded EQ Leadership. And I guess I'm an honorary VP of Human Systems, or HR, for Solveres. What I'm talking about is my second book, which is the 7 Acts of Courage. And I have a TEDx talk, which is available on the Solveres site, where just 10 minutes long, where I talk about the birth of that and how it changed the trajectory of my life when I was 28 years old. And what we're talking about tonight is the 7th act of courage. We've talked about the first 6 acts. I'll just repeat them very briefly for people who didn't hear the first ones. The first act of courage is the courage to dream and express the dream. It takes courage because there's critics out there. There's all kinds of naysayers. The second is the courage to see current reality, to be able to see what's working for you, what's working against you, your strengths and your weaknesses. The third act is the courage to confront, to tell truth to power. The fourth act is the courage to be confronted, which is the coin of integrity, telling your truth, but also hearing someone else's truth. The fifth act is the courage to learn and grow, giving up the need to be right. I'm a recovering rightaholic, and being willing to step into the unknown, into ambiguity. The sixth act is the courage to be vulnerable and open to life, knowing it's going to come to an end. So let me live it to its fullest now, really experience it and be open to others. The seventh act is where it all comes together. It's the courage to take action in spite of fear, in spite of anxiety, in spite of naysayers, in spite of self-doubt. And here's the key. Solomon said, with all thy getting, get the understanding. Solomon was a pretty wise guy. Well, get the understanding means to get the wisdom. If you take action informed by those first 6 acts, dreaming, current reality, confronting, being confronted, learning and growing, and being vulnerable, when you take action with greater understanding, with greater wisdom. And your actions are going to be much more powerful. It's like the difference between taking a bullet, high-powered rifle bullet, and throwing it against the wall versus putting that bullet in a rifle and shooting at the wall. One is going to bounce off the wall. The other is going to penetrate the wall, probably through the next wall and way down the neighborhood. When you begin to inform your actions with the wisdom of these other first acts, you act in a much wiser way. There's a wonderful book by Ursula K. Le Guin called The Wizard of Earthsea. And in it, there's a young wizard named Ged, G-E-D, Ged. And Ged has this power, and he raises a spirit of the dead in a moment of pride to show off to another young wizard. And that spirit of the dead frees up a demon who attacks him, tears his face, attacks him, and Ged wears those scars. And the great mage, archmage, drives the demon off. And then when Ged leaves the island, he's pursued by the demon and he runs before it, changing into different animals. He finally ends up with his old master, an old master named Ogion, the one who could still the earthquakes. And Ogion turned him from a young hawk, which he turned himself into, back into a wizard. And he said, tell me what's happening. And he said, oh, master, I freed a demon. It's pursuing me. I must run from it or it will consume me. His master said, if you keep running from the demon, from what you fear, it will consume you. You will become what you most fear. You must turn and face it or be destroyed. Master, I'm not strong enough. I'm not strong enough. I will be destroyed. The master went to bed. The next morning when he woke up, in glowing letters across the mantelpiece of the fireplace that disappeared even as he read them, it said, Master, I have gone hunting. And Ged turned and he pursued the demon. And when the demon saw him coming after him, the demon turned and ran. And as you read the book, Ged pursues the demon. And when he gets close to it and he starts to grab the demon turns into himself. It's a mirror image of himself. It's his shadow. And when they come together, he becomes the most powerful wizard on earth. When we stop being run by our fears and we turn to act in spite of them and we move against the fear, we begin to own more of our power. I see people like the great, like the European cattle on the Great Plains, when they're not protected and a great storm blows through, the storm pursues them, the cattle run before it and they freeze to death. The American bison turn and they walk through the storm. They pursue the storm. They walk through it to the other side and live. So if you don't want to freeze out your life, if you want to really claim the fullness, you need to take the courage to take action, to move forward. You know, and there are many, many stories I could talk about. Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain, the hero of the second day of battle at Gettysburg, July 2nd, 1863, when the Confederate Army was coming up Little Round Top. And he was assaulted multiple times. Finally, he was left with less than 200 men. Some of them were wounded. Half of them didn't have ammunition. And up the hill comes 1,000 Confederate soldiers. And he realizes that if they collapse and they'll flank the Union Army, and there goes the Army of the Potomac and the war, he can't stay there. He'll be destroyed. So he steps to the front and he yells one word, bayonet. All the men stand, fixed bayonets. And he leads a charge down a hill with less than 200 men into the face of more than 500 Confederate soldiers. And the charge down the hill was so startling and so fast, the Confederates backed up, ran into each other, and it turned into a complete rout. But he saved the second day of the Battle of Gettysburg, which changed history. And if he hadn't had those other acts of courage, the courage to dream, he was seen current reality, he understood what was at stake, he was willing to confront, he was willing to be confronted by others. He had all those acts of courage. So when he stood there, he knew he could die, but he knew if he retreated, the cause would die. And if he stood there, he would die. So he took action. He was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for that action. Became the governor of Maine 4 times. Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain, Bayonets Forward. It's a great autobiography. There's like 20 books on this man's life. But as you study people, you'll see that truly people who've made their mark in life had the courage to take action. In spite of fear, in spite of doubt, they turned into the fear. And the more you can inform it from the other acts of courage, the more you can act with wisdom and guidance. Just a couple of caveats. Fear is not the problem. Fear is an ally. Fear is simply saying, hey, pay attention. Pay attention. There's something here that could hurt you. Pay attention. There's something here that matters. Be careful. You stop, you look, you think, and then you choose to act. So fear is simply, if you make it an ally, it's just telling you, pay attention. You could make a mistake here. Something could happen that you don't want. Decide if this is something you truly want. I believe the universe puts in front of us those very barriers. When we say we want something, the very barrier is there. And the universe says, do you really want it? You really want it? You're willing to move through your anxiety, move through your fear? Because that's what it's going to take. Show me you're committed. Show me you want this. So use fear as an ally to stop and think, this is what I really want. Pay attention, and then take a calculated risk. Starting a business is a risk. Not starting a business is a risk. Getting married is a risk. Not getting married, avoiding something is also another risk. You know, and you cannot live a risk-free life. I'm sorry. You want to take calculated risk as you move forward and as you move forward. So what I'd ask you to do, make fear your ally. It's not the enemy. Courage is the response. Decide if it's something you want and walk through it with as much integrity, with as much wisdom and understanding as you can by listening to the advice of others and their criticism, courage to be confronted, being willing to confront issues, courage to confront, the courage to hold to your dream, the courage to see what you're working against you and not working for you, the courage to give up the need to be right. Because, as I said, you can either be right or happy. You can either be right or more successful. You can either be right or you can really get what you want, but you can't have both. So all of those things, and then the courage to be vulnerable and open to life and others is going to allow you to have that understanding, that wisdom to take really good action. So any questions? And then next week will be the 8th act of courage, which I'm working on right now. The 8th act of courage is the courage to let go. We'll talk about that next week. But any questions or comments or thoughts about the courage to take action?
Well, my new fighting words are bayonets forward. When you see a fear, bayonet forward.
Joshua Lawrence.
That's a great story.
Yep.
Anybody else get anything out of it they want to share?
I just had this thought because I had a little bit of challenge of anxiety the other day. I've been moving so hard and so fast. And I remember Dusty's words. He said, you know, Rick, you should just slow down about 75% and breathe. And I always think you can't get it wrong if you're coming from the deepest place in your heart.
Yeah.
And so I remembered that. And then I had this little challenge. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? I know what I want. I'm coming from the deepest place in my heart. What's this fear? What's this fear all about? And so I'm like, so I started looking at my values, the 3 values that I hold most dear, which equal my happiness, by the way. I learned this from Dusty. Where am I out of alignment? Because that's what's causing me the anxiety. And I realized, oh, this is where I need to have a conversation. And once I clarify in this conversation, you know, I had to talk to my wife. I had to ask, I say, hey, you know, this is where everything's at. This is where I'm planning on going. Now I'm planning on spending, you know, a little more money than I anticipated. And I plan on owning 2 boats at the same time. And I know you said that you didn't want me to own 2 boats at the same time, and you know what the funny thing was is she said, you know, it's only for a little while. She said, it's only for a little while. She says, it'll be just fine. What do you really want to do? You're going to come from the deep. I know you want to do this. I'm not going to ever stand in the way of your dreams. And I thought, okay, I just felt like 100% relief and I knew where I wanted to go, but I was willing to pull the plug because if I wasn't in alignment, and that's the one thing I learned, I got to be in alignment. And so thank you, Dusty, for teaching me that.
I'll be brief. This is Mark, but I wanted to share that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, okay, good. So I have never considered fear as an ally. I had a tremendous shift, and it made me think of all the things that I used to think of fear as a negative.
Yeah.
I am so grateful, Dusty. I've got to go, but I'm going to rethink a lot of things based on your talk. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Welcome.
Steve, do you want to unmute and say something?
I was going to let other people kind of chime in a little bit. I did want to add that Dusty, you know, when he does his lessons and his courses, he is brilliant at doing visualizations. And that's an important component of all this. And it helps everything kind of sink in and become a part of you, I guess, subconsciously. And so if you do happen to take those courses, those are just a fun experience. I wish he just had a whole catalog of visualizations for a lot of different topics.
Painting the picture.
Imagine, you know, I have executives come here for training, and these are high-powered executives. They're here for 3 days on our farm. And I have them at night sit around a big fire. We have a big fire pavilion. And I'll take them through a guided visualization. First, deep breathing, relaxation, 5 minutes, and then into a guided visualization. They come back and they share what came up. It's amazing what our minds and hearts come up with when we open up to that space and that possibility. We have people share about the moments when the bottle of consciousness shattered open and they saw a much bigger world. And then the second night they're here around the fire, they talk about the new story they're going to live into. the new level of consciousness they're ready to really embrace and hold. It's really a gift.
Yeah. If anybody wants to jump in, just unmute yourself and then Bo can call on you. Oh, no.
Well,
Everybody's speechless.
yeah. Well, thanks so much, Dusty. I'm excited to watch the next one. Saturday, we have a really good presentation. I think that's Cammie and Alan are doing, right? And then we're really excited about what's going on in that arena. The website's being all put together. Mike is working on that. I don't know if you want to give an update on that, but we've got all kinds of new stuff going together.
Yeah, it's we're redesigning a lot of stuff on the website. There's not necessarily new content, just a new way of laying out and presenting the information. So I think you guys will be impressed not only with the layout, but with the new professionalism of it.
Okay, awesome. Jane, do you want to say something?
Yeah, this is Jane in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And I have a guest named JP on the line.
Yeah, we were talking to him earlier. He seems like a really good guy in Phoenix.
Oh, grand. I didn't get to hear that because I came a little late. Okay, I'm glad you got to introduce yourself, JP.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Bo, I would like to just say for those who aren't using NowSite, start diving into it, even if it's just a little bit. I've been spending some time making like 20 contacts. Otherwise, my brain gets kind of foggy after clicking away. But it's very, very efficient. And I've been doing it on LinkedIn. I'll do a video on how I do it, the process. But in about 25 minutes, I can make 30 contacts with a little personalization on LinkedIn. And I am getting response. It's not like you're going to get an 80% response on it, but I am making contacts. I'm using nonprofit right now as my entry. So I'm contacting nonprofits, and I've just got I think I put 150 of them into my database just the other day. So if you're not using NowSite, take advantage of it. And like Mark put out the other day, if you haven't brought them into your system, you're going to lose them at the end of your term, at the end of the month. So you need to bring those contacts into your system and put them in a list, and then that way you can follow up with them.
Excellent point, Steve. For JP, I didn't really explain a little bit what Solveres is. Solveres it means in Latin, it means solutions, and we have a myriad of solutions, about a dozen of them now, that help our members through the solutions of life. Like we have a real estate solution, we have a solar solution, we have a nonprofit solution, actually 2 different nonprofit solutions, and many more. It's a health solution. There's all kinds of solutions on there. A senior solution, and then the senior solution, we actually have 6 solutions. So it's pretty cool stuff. I really recommend you go through our website at www.solveres.com. if Jane hasn't sent you to there yet. And we'd love to have you join us as a member and bring some people. And there's a lot of ways to make money and a lot of ways to save money with Solveres. So I don't want to take too much of anybody else's time, but everybody kind of dig a little bit each week more into your website. Steve's exactly right. I spent today and yesterday afternoon working on my Now site, and I know it 80% better than I did, 48 hours ago, and I've got a long ways to go. And I'm just, how am I going to do it? Not all at one time, like Steve says. I'm going to take about 15 minutes to 30 minutes at a time, and just keep getting better at it. But it's going to be really cool for all of us to bring people into your existing businesses, and bringing them into our Solveres business. So without any further ado, is there any success stories for the week anybody wants to talk about? Anybody have a Solveres success story? Okay, everybody's really jumping up here.
I'm here.
There you go. That's a success story. We got everybody here. Well, I'm going to let everybody go, and we'll see everybody Saturday morning at 10 o'clock West Coast time, 1 o'clock East Coast time. It should be a great meeting, and let's pray a little bit for Mark's father-in-law. Talk to you guys later.